Hi, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a very exciting thing. So I most recently came across that beautiful idea again that I actually know about a business model that I did by myself. I don't know if there was ever anybody talking about this before when I actually started my career as a online business rock star. And that was pretty nice for me, actually. It was my first business that was really successful. And I realized, because I'm coaching this business model now to some IT companies that are actually for a couple of years in the game, and I'm giving them the model because they are still working very unprofitable, and I help them to change that. So, but I now realized that this is actually a very nice model, and especially for beginners. And it was the model that I was pretty successful with, and I figured out that like basically nobody is talking about it. And so the business model in general is specific on web design, but itself, in general, how you can do this kind of thing will most probably work for a couple of things. But yeah, so the business model I'm talking about is Nice Web Design Agency. And I don't see many people talking about it, especially if you're looking for videos. So I guess since it's a very good approach and I was very successful with it, it's very easy to start. Basically, everybody can do it. You can learn the skills very fast. And there's a lot of need for this. I think it's the greatest business model that you can start right now if you really want to go from 0 to 10K or more per month in profits. So, yeah. First of all, really, why should you listen to me and why should I can talk about it? So, first of all, I did this business model by myself. So I did, I think, three companies that were using that technique, and I did it in 2018 and 2019, and we're pretty successful, pretty nice companies. So basically, I started the companies from zero, and in my first one, I had my first 20K profit after 2 months. And I did this in one specific niche, and then I did it in two other niches as well that were kind of successful, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I actually stopped that model at some point, even if it was like heaven, really. I was feeling so great about it because I was actually doing a very big other project back then that scaled to a 40 million euro company. And it was a pretty cool opportunity, so I started it back then. But yeah, now I'm kind of like back in the game because I just want to. Um, I figured out that I really want to work with people as well, and so I started a program. It's pretty nice that actually is for IT companies that are a little bit more longer in the game, and we help them transform their companies. But I'm pretty happy that a lot of people that are new in the game also really like that approach and can actually implement it very easily. So let's continue. So I also, what I did with this program, I was pretty successful for my customers as well. So it was a business model that was pretty good for my clients as well. And I achieved very good results. So for example, one example was I was working with some investment people, investment consultants. And yeah, you kind of like know, if you know the field a little bit, these are like very heavily relying on new clients, and it's super hard for them to actually get online leads. So yeah, so that was pretty hard. But I did a website for them, and the first thing that happened after I think a month or 1.5 months after we started. So I think that wasn't even, not even the launch, but after we started, the first client really called the office, what never happened before, really. Always just like the phone was ringing so that people could answer and just ask if somebody can open the garage. So that was really like never the phone was ringing and the client was calling. And yeah, so the first client called and they actually got I think 500,000 or 1 million. I don't know, I don't remember, but they got a very huge investment just like from a phone call because they like the website. So that was pretty nice and it's actually very valuable for them. And so that went on for some time. And then I also did this for real estate agents because I was working some time in real estate as well. And I kind of like knew the market very well. And I was really helping. Like my first client actually in that area was a woman, and she was actually she already had a website for 2 years, and she had this website was up and running and it was like looking super bad, but it had zero engagement, like not one lead came over, like no request came in 2 years over the website. She was kind of even ashamed to admit this. And yeah, we worked a little bit on the website, did a little bit of a better job and kind of like showed some things better off. And she got in her first month, she got 14 requests from people that wanted to buy something, like a house. That was pretty nice. And yeah, that kept on. And she's now much more successful than she was before. So actually that business model really helps people, what is good. And of course I can help in a lot of ways when actually it comes to scaling IT companies or starting IT companies, because yeah, I did very big ones. My biggest one was 40 million euro, as I said, and I had 27 employees. I also created once a product that was had a value of 5 million euro just like from development. So yeah, I kind of like know a bunch of things when it comes to IT and scaling IT. But doesn't matter for you, because for you it's important that we have a very nice business model that we can do. So why do I think this is the best business model right now? So first of all, you have very low cost. So even before we get into this, maybe just like once again explaining the business model. So basically, you take a niche, you're doing websites for them, and you can charge a very high price for it. And it's pretty easy to do that. And yeah, we will talk you through the steps, but this is just how it is. So this is a business that is very easy to start and has very low cost. So you basically can use all kind of tools for free to get started, and some of the best tools in the world, they have a free version here, what is pretty good. And yeah, maybe if you have websites, yeah, you maybe need to pay some hosting for the websites. There are of course some very cheap options, but there are also good options. Some options go with 30 euro a year, some go with 120 a year, that are a little bit better. Of course there are more expensive ones, but yeah, this is kind of like, you can like basically everybody can afford starting it. You don't have to invest in a lot of stuff when you are doing, for example, something like drop shipping or yeah, some kind of lean product business. Yeah, it's kind of like not so easy to do that because you need some money upfront, but this is really very low cost and you can do it right away. Of course, it's maybe a little bit similar to SMMA, but yeah, there are other reasons why this is much better. So also it's very easy to learn. Like I'm telling you, I learned this by myself when I first started it. I actually came out of a completely different sector. Of course, I was kind of like good with computers, but I came out of like a completely different sector. And I started to learn it, and I learned actually all the things that I needed for the next years. I learned in one day. I was watching one YouTube video that was very good, yeah, but that video went like, I don't know, 1.5 hours, 2 hours or something. It was pretty long, but it was super intense, everything that you could learn there, and yeah, it was very, very helpful. So I learned this in a day, so you can do as well, and maybe even if you take a weekend, yeah, it's still not that long to learn it. So second thing is that it's a very well paid, high income skill. So once you can do this, and I guess not a lot of people are doing it because they are scared that it's so complicated and they don't know at all how it works, but it's actually pretty easy. to learn this. There are tools where you, like, really you can just like drag and drop things and put them together, use templates and all that stuff. It's pretty easy. But yeah, it's very well paid. So you can charge 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 per page, sometimes even 100,000. But yeah, this is maybe a little more advanced. Even more, I think the biggest one that I ever did was 200,000 euro for a website. Possible. But yeah, so it's pretty easy to do this kind of stuff and charge something like charge a high amount for it. The next thing is, and that I think is very important, is that you are actually really creating value. You are really doing something for your client. So when you look at a lot of business models, you can't really see value. So let's say you have a dropshipping business. Yeah, maybe you make some people happy with the products that they would never found by themselves. But yeah, like, what are you really doing? Like, you're just moving them from A to B, you earn some money, but that's it. But with this model, you actually can create really like a lot of value. And this, I guess, is the same thing with SMMA. It will take you a long time to actually figure out how to do things such in a good way that you can really bring your clients results. Same goes for lead management. So, like, this is like getting leads. It's still a good model if it works, but it's still very hard to succeed in it. And maybe you will charge somebody and then don't bring them the results. What always is a big risk of actually getting no recommendations and all of that stuff, or bad reviews. And then there's basically unlimited potential for clients. I mean, like, basically everybody, like every business in the world needs a website. Sometimes even people need websites and personal website, and some companies need 10 websites. So there's a lot of need for this. And you would be amazed how many companies there are still out there that don't have a good website or any website. I was most recently working with a guy, and he is from finance sector as well. And I know him from back then, but yeah, I would never work with him. And like last week, he told me that he still has no website, and that most recently somebody came to him and said to him, "Hey, would you like to do a website with me together?" And they started it, but it's still not there, but they started it. And he's a young guy, he knows tech, and actually he could do them all of that stuff by himself easily, but he don't has any. So there's a huge opportunity. And the last thing is that I think is very cool as well is that this is not so trendy yet. So of course there are a lot of other IT companies that are a little bit older, but I'm telling you, what they provide as a service most of the time, like, can't even catch up with what you can provide if you really going into this and really understanding how everything works, or use a couple of the very awesome templates that we work with. So it's very easy to get very great results in this area still, even if you're competing against businesses that are very long in the game. And I can tell you from experience that even this companies that I work with that are in the business for 10, 20 years, they still need that system because it's just so much better than what they're actually doing already. So yeah, this is kind of like a lot of good topics why this is a good thing. So yeah, I just want you to, like, very quickly just walk you through the 7 steps that are important to actually get to that, like, to get your first clients and to get like skyrocketing into the market. So yeah, first, and very like super crazy important, I most probably think that you heard this on other videos before, but it is so very important to actually nowadays, if you really want to be successful as a modern online rockstar, modern business rockstar, sorry, modern business rockstar, you really have to niche down. And I'm not talking just about a niche. I just like think about this. So there, most of the tools, and most of the IT companies, they do everything. So they do they make websites, they make apps, they make programs, they make individual development, everything. And that's so bad. Like, you should never do this. So it's so much of an advantage if you actually niche down. I tell you why. So first of all, it's much easier to get clients, because if the clients actually understand that you are doing that specific niche that they are in, they feel super related to it. So they kind of like, let's say, and this is how specific I want you to be with your niche. Let's say you do lawyers in, I don't know, London, and that have very high paying clients, and are actually in the business for, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. And they also are focused on a specific topic, like, let's say, housing. Okay, let's say not housing, let's say, what could it be? Yeah, some kind of specific thing. Is it real estate? Is it divorce or whatever? You really focus this down on one specific need. Like, you do the country, the city, the how long they are in the game, maybe how many employees they have, what is their focus, and so on. Like, you really focus this on the specific parts, because that will help you so much later, and also in the beginning by getting them. If you can tell somebody, yeah, I'm focused on your like specific niche and this is what we are focused on, yeah, you maybe will lose some other clients that are actually not in that niche, but it will be so much easier to close the ones that are in the niche. And especially if you do this with your domain name as well and include something like this, yeah, pretty helpful. And the other thing is, it's much easier to actually reproduce then again the websites and again and make them better and better for your specific niche all the time. And that's very helpful. So the second step, obviously, would be to just like, once you define this, what you want to work with, just educate yourself on YouTube of how to use Elementor and WordPress. So this is really the number one tools that you can use to start this, because WordPress is the biggest website provider in the world, and Elementor is the biggest app for WordPress. And they are really super great, because you can learn it in a day, but you can still learn something about it in 20 years. So that's pretty nice. And you can basically do everything that you can do with custom solutions just by dragging and dropping. It's very nice, and I highly recommend you using it. And maybe for hosting, like I personally in the beginning used Namecheap. Of course, you can use any kind of hosting that you want. All of them also have a integration of WordPress. I used Namecheap because it was cheap and I was able to buy a lot of domains over it. But the number one thing why I did it, because Namecheap just has such great support. So whenever there is a problem or I don't know what to, I pay, or back then, I paid 120 euro per year. Also, I had my domain stay, yeah, that was additional money. But that was all. And I most probably had like 20 support requests per month. And they did it all for me, and it took them half an hour. And they did everything for me, and yeah, they never charged me anything for it, so that was pretty nice. So they have a very great support, and especially if you're not super tech, they can help you with any single step that you need to make that part work. So that was the number one important thing. So yeah, let's go back to it. So step 3 would be creating your own website. This is just like, don't waste a lot of time on this, but just create something very simple, because when you are selling websites and you don't have a website by yourself, people will notice this and will think like, what are you talking about? You are selling me that I need a website and you don't even have your own one. So yeah, just do this as your first test project when you are watching videos, and don't waste a lot of time, but do it. And one quick tip, just make it short. Not too much content, but the content that is there, make it very good, and also don't make any spelling mistakes or whatsoever. Do it with an AI or something that really can check if everything is good, because if you are working with older business people. Oh man, they are so looking and watching for any kind of typos, and it's pretty annoying. I know, like maybe modern young people, they don't care so much about that anymore, but they do. So yeah, just a quick tip. Then step 4, just get a domain email with the same domain that your website is. You can buy it also on Namecheap. You can host it even on Namecheap for free. You can do that in the beginning. I would really not recommending doing this over a long time because this is not so great. You can implement it with, for example, Google Mail or Microsoft, but that will cost a little bit, not much, 10 euro per month or something. But yeah, it's still something that you don't need in the beginning. But I would really encourage you to do the email. And the reason because of this is when you are in touch with people and you're sending people, they will see it first of all, and especially if you are new in touch with them, they will check out the link that you have in your email for sure. That's something that they will check out. Even if you put a link in the description, they will check out what is after the ad from your email. And if you have a business email or something that is not just Google, like first of all, Google Mail or something looks kind of unprofessional, but if you have anything else, they will kind of get confused. They will getting trust issues. Just avoid this. Do everything over the email and set it up. So 5th step, and this of course very important, like how do you get your first clients? So first of all, there are many ways to do this, and it depends a little bit on what you want to achieve. So I want to give you 2 quick methods. One that is a little bit more advanced, and the other one everybody can basically do right now. So I have a very nice system that I used for years, and I used it to raise millions of euros for my companies, get in touch with crazy high CEOs of very big companies. And I talk about that method actually in my book, The 7 Degrees of Networking. What is a great technique, really? Because basically how it works is that you have in your network people that know people, and you can go to one person in a specific direction. Let's say you have a niche that you want to go in, and you want to get in touch with business owners from this niche. Maybe you know somebody that kind of is a little bit in the direction of the niche, not too far. Let's say somebody that actually, for example, if you want to work with doctors and you know somebody that you know that studied, how is it called, medical, that wanted, at some point he wanted to become a doctor and he failed. But you know him, and maybe he knows a doctor personally, and maybe this doctor knows people from your niche. So there is this different layers of connections that you can have, and then you can basically get to anybody. So, but yeah, as I said, I talk about it in my book, and it's not for everybody the greatest thing to start. For me, it was great because I also had a good network already, and it was pretty skyrocketing right away. Another thing is that you can just reach out on any kind of social media platform. Of course, to clients, it doesn't matter if it's LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. It's just important that this is related to actually your niche. Just think about or research where the people that you actually want to target in your niche, where they're actually spending their time. So let's say you have a businessman from an international business company. He's most probably on LinkedIn. But if you have maybe something like a doctor, he maybe is not that much on LinkedIn. Maybe he is sometimes on Facebook because he wants to see a little bit what his kids are doing, or on Instagram, but not so much there. And if you really want to work with somebody that is from a lifestyle segment, or clothing or makeup or whatever, yeah, chances are pretty good that they are a lot on Instagram. And the thing is, even if you are not doing advertisement but just reaching out to these people, it's a good idea to reach out on a platform that they spend the most time, because otherwise it can be kind of difficult to reach out to them, and then maybe they will check it in a week or two or maybe a month. But if they use the platform regularly, you can reach out to them. And what I would do is, by reaching out to them, first of all, the most important thing is that you really get to them and tell them about what you are going to do. So let's say you want to build websites for this area, and that you actually ask them for help. Ask them really for help. Ask them that you want to understand that area better, and that you would really, really love to talk to them and kind of like get some insights about it. And if they want, in return for their time, you will build them a website for free. So that really brings you into that area. You can even say, like, sometimes people, when you really like approach them, they are just gonna help you even if you don't offer them the website for free, but that really helps you getting in. And the cool thing is, if you do a website for free for them, what you should do anyway, because it's a very nice thing to start with some websites for free, just reach out to a couple of people, and really you can learn with these websites, you can do these websites, and you can do them very fast, and then you will understand better about your niche. And then the cool thing is, of course, that they most probably in the end will give you something for it, or some referrals or whatsoever. So that can be very, very good technique. And how I would kind of like do this from Wording, or how I did it from Wording, was just like reaching out to people, told them that I was actually a web designer and now I want to go into that niche. So I never said that I was just starting, or that I just starting to build my business and I want to build it in that niche. No, I said I'm a web designer and developer. Yeah, this is what I said. And that I would now actually get into that niche, as I would already have a bunch of clients in other niches, and now I want to go into that new niche. And that's why I want to learn about that niche and want to understand it, and like kind of figure out what people need here. So this is kind of like what you can do. And as I said, you can offer them to build them a website for free as an exchange of giving that information to you. And it will be so beneficial for you, I'm telling you. So of course, obviously, then you should build a good website for them. And you can do this by just analyzing a lot of other good working platforms, high performing websites that kind of like other people in the same niche are using, that are very successful. You can make some similar templates out of it, or use some of the great templates that we have, and just like start doing it more into the direction and see how much results you are getting. And then over time, you make it better and better and better, and then it will become great. And step 7 is, of course, like, you can really work with these people that you build a website for free and try to get referrals as much as possible. Or you can just ask them, as a return that I did the website for you, could you please give me a review, or I could highlight you on my website, or you have something like that you want to show in your portfolio, and that really helps. So people that you work for free and do something very valuable for free, they are most of the time very happy about it, and they want to give you something. I even had people, when I was first like, I didn't do it for my first business, and not for the second, but for the first one, because I didn't know a lot about the niche yet. They even paid me afterwards for the website that I did, even if I said I do it for free, because they liked it so much. So yeah, this is all possible if you do something for them for free. So, and then there's quickly just like a bonus tip that I want to give to you guys. So I want you to be and get familiar with one additional offering, and that is Google My Business Optimization. So in the whole process, I really want you to focus on one specific niche and do one specific website that you will get better and better and better over time, and not have any additional thing. But in addition, you can do so many great things with this Google My Business Optimization. And the good thing is, not many people are doing it, and it's a huge difference and a huge thing. For everybody that doesn't know what Google My Business is. So whenever you are on Google Maps, is like some kind of card where you can actually see all the information about the company. And that's very true for some companies like restaurants, like doctors and everything. Like they all have these kind of cards. And I'm not also talking about the reviews, because Google is like creating a business card kinda. If somebody says, yeah, there is a business like this, a card gets created and reviews get collected and so on. But you can really optimize this Google My Business by having all the correct information in it, having the like correct website that you just built for somebody in this Google My Business, and also optimizing the images. Like you would be surprised how many Google My uh, businesses out there that are actually very bad. They have very bad images, like a lot. And it can be so helpful. So I really, when I was optimizing Google My Business for some of my clients, they before spent with other companies like a ton of money, like thousands of euro, on search engine optimization, and they were still on page 2. But then we did the Google My Business for them and put their actually like website in it. And Google just turned it to page 1, first result. Because Google really likes when you use Google My Business for your company. So that is why this is like super important. And I even have people that don't have anything related to IT, and they don't do web design or anything. They are just doing some services, and they created, because they just at some point came around this approach that it would be a good idea to have a Google My Business optimized. They did it, and they got great results. Like people calling them, trying like want to make business with them, like everything. It was super great. And the coolest thing about this is that you can use it in so many ways here in that scenario. So first of all, you could, for example, when you do the first like couple of free websites, and you do that for free, and then you ask them if they also want to have a Google My Business optimization that would really help them. You just did a website for them for free. They will like you, and they will say yes. And you can charge like 300 to 500. I would say something like 500 is completely fine for that business optimization. And it will literally just take you half an hour. Like with what thing you can earn 500 euro in half an hour? Like not even lawyers make it. And that's really like, it's super easy to do and like very beneficial. But at the same time, you can kind of like do it as a free opener to get to real clients, or you can take it and say, okay, I just want to do your Google My Business as an opener for actually more money. So you will not do it for free, but you will actually charge 500 for it, because the chance that somebody pays you 500 is much easier, or like more likely, that for the whole website. And he will pay you 500 euro. He will see greater results with it, and he will already like it and has something that stays forever and that is very beneficial. And then he already paid you 500 for something that really turned into some great result. So he will trust you. So the chance that he will then also pay you for his website, yeah, chances are much higher. So that's a very, very good opener, or something that you can use in any kind of way here in the combination. So I did this many times, were like always part of my first websites that I sold, and sometimes an opener and so on. And yeah, just making this, I was even just charging 300 back then for it, but I knew I could actually have charged more. But yeah, it was very, very good and very helpful. And that's also how you can beat some of the like IT companies that are in the game for some time, because even some of them, they don't know how important this is. So even the SEO companies, sometimes they even don't know that this is an important thing to do. So yeah, you can get great results by just giving this as an additional thing. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, or you want to have any kind of these points, like really in detail how it works and how I should do it, how you should do it and how I do it, let me know in the comments. I will be happy to help you. And yeah, other than that, I really want to try this new business model. Just like try it once. You will be amazed how far you can get in like the first 2 months. Really like from zero to 10, 20K profit per month working from your laptop everywhere, from everywhere in the world. Like, I guess this is something that a lot of people want, and it is actually very possible with this model. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Seeing you next time.